This was an exhibition that I held at Chapel off Chapel, and it had the stories of people that were either well known or just everyday people. It was very well received, and some of the stories were really, really quite touching. I started each painting the same way that I would start a portrait, organising to meet with the person and talk to them to find out what it is that makes them tick, to find out what it is about their story that made them special and why I wanted to communicate it in my painting. In the exhibition, next to each of the paintings, there was a story about each subject, and I'm going to read to you one of the stories that was next to the painting Monica and Mr. Conrad. Monica knew Mr. Conrad when she was a little girl in the 1960s. At the time, he employed her mother Linda as a typist. During the school holidays, Monica would go to the office, and there a bond similar to that of a grandparent and a grandchild was formed. When Monica's mother became seriously ill, losing an enormous amount of weight, at one stage reaching 4 stone, Mr. Conrad was there to help, becoming a very dear friend, almost like a member of the family. Life stabilised for Monica until at the age of 15 her father died. He was only 42 years of age. 10 days later, her grandfather died, and shortly after, her grandmother. Monica, her younger sister and mother were all alone in the space of 6 months. And that's when Mr. Conrad and his late wife Thelma really stepped in and helped, providing support and a friendship in their time of need. There was a wonderful bond and a special love between them. Monica grew up and went to uni, and as what often happens when life changes, they lost touch. They lost touch for 25 years, in fact. In 2009, Monica bought a house with her young family in Parkdale. And during the move, she found an old wallet that she had since she was 10, and in it a card. On the card was Mr. Conrad's address from the time when Monica was a child. It was only about 6 houses away from where she was now living. She walked around to see the house thinking there was no possible way that he would still be there. Waiting in the front garden for a taxi was Mr. Conrad, who was now 92 years old. They recognised each other instantly, and Monica flew into his arms crying. They've seen each other every day since then, and Monica is truly like a granddaughter that Mr. Conrad treasures. Well, since I wrote this story of Monica and Mr. Conrad has passed away, but right till the very, very end, they were the best of friends.